Hey everybody, welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark. I'm Megan, and I'm a lifelong Hallmark movie fan.
I'm Wendy, and I can't believe I made it through Countdown to Christmas.
We're here!
I made it alive, guys!
Really without falling apart at any point. Like, there was no point we were like, ugh, another movie.
Well, I don't know about that. I may have hit a wall at some point, but it didn't kill me. You know,
Yeah.
what makes you, what makes you stronger? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger?
enough.
You got me.
Well, I do think that there is perhaps a reason why this season was a little bit different, and I will talk about that in just a second. But today we are discussing A Dog Lover's Guide to Dating, the very first movie released on January 1st from Hallmark Channel in their New Year, New Movies lineup.
Which is so weird that they're calling it that this year since, you know, most of January is committed to the Wedding Veil series. Like, call it, I don't know. I always thought, because prior to starting this podcast, it was called Winterfest, right? In January. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then in 2021, I don't remember, they changed it to New Year, New Movies, which to me signifies that it would be like movies with a fresh start. I don't know, resolutions.
I think it's just super generic. I think it's like, we got to call these months something so everyone feels like they need to get the whole month.
It's super boring.
This, like, completion mentality.
I get it.
Think, I think outside of Countdown to Christmas, my feeling is that their themes have very little meaning.
Then why do them? They don't need to do them.
Autumn, because most of those movies aren't even fall.
Don't get me started. Yes.
So anyway, if you want to connect with us outside of the podcast, we'd love for you to follow us on Instagram. We have 2 Instagram accounts. Girls Gone Hallmark is our Hallmark specific account. It is popping off over there. Wendy runs that account. And if you want to talk all things Hallmark, please join us there. We have a second Instagram account, which is at Megan and Wendy, which is all things Megan and Wendy. We talk about our other podcasts there. We talk about life there. That's a fun account as well.
You can also jump in our Girls Gone Hallmark Facebook group. We've been letting people in there left and right over the holiday.
We have. It's growing quickly. It's very fun over there.
We chat over there about Hallmark movies, Hallmark news, so on and so forth. You can also email us always at meganandwendy@gmail.com. If you want to talk about your thoughts on these movies, we are here to listen.
And we did get a few emails, like people sharing their favorite movies of the year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. People who couldn't quite figure out how to play along on Instagram. Wendy had a fun little game. Wendy created a bracket to determine the best movie of the year. Of course, all in good fun. And look, Wendy said she was going to do this, and I was like, that sounds like a lot of work. That you go for that. And there wasn't really anything, like, it wasn't really possible for it to be a 2-person job. I mean,
no, maybe. It's fine. I wasn't asking for your help.
I know, but the whole time I was like, well, this is a lot of work. I just kept watching it happen. But she seeded them based on their IMDb rankings, which totally blew my mind. And then you, the fans, got to vote, and there were some surprises there.
Big time surprises, don't you think?
The biggest surprise to me is evident in the final 2 movies.
Which was In Merry Measure, with a Brendan Penny movie. And what's that other one with the 3 guys?
3 Wise Men and a Baby.
Yes.
Yeah, which I expected to be in the final 2. That, or a handful of other movies I anticipated would be in the final 2. Really, In Merry Measure had a true Cinderella story. The fans really rallied behind that movie.
It really, really did. And let me say, I felt kind of bad because that was a movie that we did not review.
Correct.
And one I did not watch during the Countdown to Christmas season, but New Year's Eve, I did watch it. And I did think it was a good movie. I liked it quite a bit. I really liked the writing. I liked the story. I liked the actors. I liked it a lot. I felt bad that I kind of thought it was like a throwaway Hallmark movie. you know, how some of those are, right?
Sure.
But I was truly wowed how far it got in the bracket.
Yeah, and there was a point at which it was way ahead in the votes, and then the Hindies came out in full force.
That's what was so crazy about it, was like the fandoms would get bananas over it.
Right.
They would just like, people were sending me like screenshots of dropping our link to our Instagram in all kinds of crazy like Facebook groups and Reddit subthreads and all kinds of stuff. So I was like, well, hey, I'm here for it. Great. Share our stuff. But
absolutely,
there are a lot of like pockets of fans out there. Mm-hmm. So it was fun to watch. Now, let me tell you, there was some weird stuff behind the scenes. Just not super weird, but like people questioning our integrity to this contest.
Yeah.
First of all, not a contest. There was like nothing to win here, no prize. It was just for fun. It's truly just for engagement, for the fans to like, you know, partake in something that they love, right?
And I think the fans really got into it and liked the opportunity to play.
Agree, but then I got some messages like, show me the proof and send me screenshots, and are you changing the votes, and is it allowed that you're voting from a different account, you know, because you voted from our Megan and Wendy Hallmark account, which
but I'm
why
a
not?
Favorite person.
I know, it just was bizarre. I was like, hey guys, like, it's just for fun. It's just for fun. And then I just started ignoring those messages because I was like, I can't win here. Like, I don't have some conspiracy against three wise men and a baby. Sorry.
No, we did not have a dog in this fight.
And then I would say there was some feedback too. Like, people were unhappy with the seating.
Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, folks.
That's what I said specifically. I'm like, look, I did not match these two movies up on purpose. Like, well, this is what I did. I went through IMDb. Actually, I didn't do it. Somebody did it on Twitter. They have the movies ranked on IMDb according to user ratings. And then I had to go in and fill in the gaps a little bit because it wasn't complete. Anyway, but people were upset that I used IMDb as the way to seed them. But like, how else am I going to do it? Like,
yeah, by viewership. Look, it's for fun, y'all. It's for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to seed our bracket next year, email us, meganandwendy@gmail.com. Have at it.
But like one complaint was that the Holiday Sitter it was a kind of a lower ranking because the IMDb, like, it wasn't like a super popular movie on IMDb, which, shocker, because a lot of people live on the internet on IMDb and like to write terrible reviews about movies, right?
Right.
So I'm like, but that's not my fault.
No, I think you did great. I think it was very fun.
Thank you.
I'm impressed that you pulled it off. And if you want to see the full recap of how it went down, Wendy's been saving those into a highlight on our Girls Gone Hallmark Instagram account.
Yeah. Also, should we do it again next year?
I think so, but let me know how I can help you.
Okay. We got a whole another 11 months to figure it out. So.
We do. A little bit more Hallmark news and notes. I just have one note here that Hallmark has acquired Drop Dead Diva, which will air on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries on weekdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, Wendy, have you ever seen this show?
I never watched it, no.
I watched it in its original airing. It stars Brooke Elliott, and that, I think, was my first introduction to her. I loved this show. So I'm excited that it will get a new audience. I did tell Wendy that we should throw in another recap, but every time I've mentioned it, she has just ignored the suggestion. So,
did you see my reply on Facebook late last night?
Didn't.
Well, late last night, I did chime in and I said, Patreon, honey.
If you would like a Patreon exclusive podcast recapping Drop Dead Diva from the ladies of Girls Gone Hallmark, email us and let us know.
Yeah, especially I've never seen it. How many seasons are there? A couple? 2? 3?
A couple. And it's fun and light. I think you might like it. It's a cute show.
Well, hey, I'm open to it.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you interested in hearing what the top 5 Countdown to Christmas movies were by Girls Gone Hallmark download numbers?
Yes, I am.
I'll start with number 5.
Okay.
Number 5 might be a surprise. It's The Royal Nanny.
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised it made the top 5. Next up, we have Lights, Camera, Christmas. The number 3 spot is Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas. That's no surprise to me. Tyler Hynes movies perform very well for us.
I know. I just cringed, though, because I was like, I was not that kind to that movie.
Well, I think there were some criticisms to be made. Okay. Number 2 is Haul Out the Holly. And the number 1 spot is no surprise, Three Wise Men and a Baby. That movie was just a force unto itself.
Yeah, there was no, you know what? I got a lot of DMs from people saying, it was not their favorite.
It wasn't my number 1 movie of the year. I liked it, but it wasn't my number 1 movie of the year. And my husband, we were talking about Hallmark movies with some friends over the weekend. He goes, people just like that movie because the boys in it are pretty. And I said, yes, that is the heart of that movie.
Yes, because it's middle-aged women watching Hallmark and we want to see hot dudes. Sorry.
Tyler Hynes and his candy cane.
Oh my God, forever and ever, amen. He better have a candy cane in his next Christmas movie.
No, I know. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss in Hallmark News and Notes?
Just one. Kevin McGarry, who is in the upcoming The Wedding Veil Expectations. He and his now fiancée, Kayla Wallace, who they co-star together in When Calls the Heart, got engaged over the holidays.
It was so exciting in New York. And we're very excited for them. You ready for a synopsis?
Oh, sure. The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. Simon believes Chloe is the girl of his dreams, but can't seem to win over her beloved pup. He enlists dog trainer Alex and soon finds himself wondering where his real connection might be. Starring Rebecca Dalton and Corey Sevier. Sevier? Every time. Sorry.
News and notes for A Dog Lover's Guide to Dating. This movie was based on the book, The Dog Lover's Guide to Dating, which it's not a novel, but an actual how-to guide.
It's, yes, a practical guide. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
I saw the credit at the beginning of the movie, and so I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's not a novel. That is so bizarre.
I agree. I thought it was going to be like Must Love Dogs, but no, it is not. It is an actual, if you like dogs and you want to find dates, this is the book for you.
I will leave a link to it in our show notes, guys.
Pick it up on Amazon. Get it from your library.
I had a feeling that this movie might have been a Johnson production group movie, and I was right.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I just nailed it. Johnson Production Group has produced many Hallmark movies, including many I personally didn't like. However, they have most recently produced Noel Next Door, 5 More Minutes, Moments Like These, and Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas.
Okay.
I think they might have a deal with Corey Sevier because I was looking at their lineup of movies, Noel Next Door, obviously, and then there was another one from last year. I can't remember what it was exactly, but he was in it.
A deal, or perhaps they just enjoy him.
Yeah, maybe.
This was filmed in the easternmost province of Canada, very far away from Vancouver, specifically Newfoundland and Labrador and St. John's.
I actually thought that was a joke when I first saw the note on that. I was like,
because of the dogs?
Yes. I was like, is somebody trolling me? Like, are these real places? I didn't know. I didn't know that they were actual real places.
That's funny.
Did you know of Labrador?
I've been to St. John's, so yes.
Yeah, but that's not a dog. I'm talking about like Labrador and Newfoundland.
Yeah, that was unsurprising to me.
Okay, I thought it was quite funny. Quite funny. A dog movie that it's very meta. A dog movie that takes place in a. Well, actually, it never really said where it took place, right?
No, I don't think they ever named the setting of the movie.
Yeah, well, okay, a dog movie that was filmed in a dog land.
Yeah.
No offense, anybody. It was beautiful. I actually thought it was quite stunning.
It was beautiful.
I was like, I would like to go there.
I think they had the advantage of it feeling wintry, not snowy wintry, but not dead of summer, even though it was filmed in August and September, because fall arrives quite early in that part of the world.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So do you think that wind, when they were on the cliffside, was that hot wind or cold wind?
Oh, I think it was a cold wind. Did you think they had the ADR, the dialogue during the wind scene?
Absolutely.
Me too. I was actually watching very carefully because if they did have to do that, they did it well. It didn't sound like we're standing in a room saying these lines.
Yeah. No, they did a good job. Mm-hmm. There's no, Mike would have totally picked up that wind. They definitely had to.
I had that same thought while watching.
Rebecca Dalton, she plays Alex. She's totally new to me. I've never seen her before. She has a lot of acting credits, though, dating back to 2010, including the unauthorized Melrose Place story where she played Courtney Thorne-Smith.
That's so funny. I have that exact note because I knew you were going to see that in her.
Of course.
In her bio.
Of course.
I mean, it's like TV movie, TV movie, the unauthorized Melrose Place story. I thought that was a fun little note, Courtney Thorne.
She was also in Hallmark's A Perfect Christmas in 2016. She wasn't like the star of the movie, but she was in it. And I noticed she also co-starred with Corey Sevier in last year's Lemonade Stand romance, which was not a Hallmark movie. I'm not exactly sure where it aired, but it's written, directed by a bunch of like Hallmark regulars. So, but I don't know where that movie's at.
I noticed that as well. Corey Sevier is really churning out the Hallmark movies lately. He plays Simon in this movie. I'm wondering if he needs to be considered for our Dudes of Hallmark short, but Hallmark seems to be a big fan of Corey Sevier. I mean, 3 movies in the last 4 months. He's working a lot.
What? 3 movies? Not for all for Hallmark.
Yes, all for Hallmark. He was in Road Trip Romance in the fall.
Okay.
He was in
Noel Next Door.
And then this.
Okay. He's got a bunch of other movies in his IMDb too, but like I honestly don't know where those movies are at. He did 2 other Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. And then he has another one completed called Key to Love, and I don't know where that one is going either.
I did notice that a lot of these actors have a lot coming up.
Yeah, I know. Exciting, right?
Eliza King plays Chloe in this movie. She lives in Newfoundland, and her 3 other acting credits are movies that have all been shot in Newfoundland.
Oh.
I actually really enjoyed her, and
so did I.
Hope that she can
funny.
break out of the Eastern Canada acting scene because I liked her and would like to see more of her.
I agree. There was something, I was very drawn to her for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got for news and notes.
I just want to say this movie has 3 co-writers, Catherine Ray, Kate Somerville, and Juliana Wimbles. Catherine Ray and Kate Somerville are both very newly published writers, I shall say. Catherine Ray has 2 writing credits. This is Kate Somerville's first writing credit. Juliana Wimbles has a fair amount of Hallmark acting under her belt, but 3 writing credits. So these are some new writers that we're getting in here.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to first impressions.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Mine comes from my husband.
Oh, okay.
Who was in the room as I was watching, although he wouldn't tell you he watched this movie. And he said, if there are pets in the movie, you already know what you're going to get.
That is a fair first impression. Mm-hmm. My first impression was someone has daddy issues.
Oh my gosh. Wait till we get to my wish.
Okay.
So what do we like about this movie?
I'll start. I was really focused on Corey Sevier's performance. Mm-hmm. Now, let me just a little backstory here. Prior to Noel Next Door, I had personally found him kind of unremarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very handsome. Don't get me wrong. But like, I couldn't name one of his movies if my life depended on it. Like, I have no idea. You said Romance to the Rescue. Was that a dog movie?
No. Road Trip Romance.
Oh my God. Oh my God. See, I can't.
Funny Suitcases.
Oh God. Oh, Natalie Hall was in that movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I think that he's a really good dramatic actor. So I enjoyed him in those scenes that require like a little more depth as opposed to like the comedic scenes, which I feel like they're like overacted. Especially like at the beginning when he's chasing the dog through the park. Yes, I could not. I was like, no, this is what we're dealing with. I mean, I like him as an actor. I'm going
to put that on the director. Having those scenes, you're not going to dive through somebody's picnic to try and get the dog. You're just
right. Not. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So, as I mentioned, I really liked Eliza King. I liked Chloe's character. She had some really funny lines. She and Simon go for a walk, and she's like, I'm not, like, outdoorsy. And then she goes, is this, like, research? And I yelled at the screen. I go, it's a walk, Chloe. Like, I just thought she was very Cher Horowitz in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I thought she was a fun, light comic relief.
Yeah, I liked her too. I really enjoyed Emily Strange's, she played the role of the sister. Yeah, I liked her a lot too. Like she was like the level-headed one who would ask the questions. Like you need that always in a movie. But I liked her. I liked her in that role.
Well, and to that point, I was more invested in the relationship between Alex and Sarah than I was in the relationship between Alex and Simon.
Oh, right. See, that's how they could have made this movie a little bit better. Make it more about the sisters. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't want to start the year out being like, I don't want these Hallmark trope movies.
Same.
But
I watched this movie so carefully because I wanted to start strong. I'm struggling with that. Mm-hmm. A quick little side note, there was an interview with Lacey Chabert that was done recently, and it was kind of like the counterpoint to the Candace Cameron Bure interviews that have been done.
Yeah.
And it was a nice interview, but one of the things they asked was, do you think we'll ever see movies without a love story? And she said, I think that love story is at the heart of what we do. She said, but you never know. But I was a little bit disappointed in that answer because I do think there's room for Hallmark to branch out and tell these stories that don't end in an I love you moment.
Right. I mean, Three Wise Men and a Baby was not a primary love story.
That's a great point.
Yes, those were side stories, but it was not the crux of the movie.
For me, it's always take a lesson from the movie Frozen, right? Disney princess movies always have a fairy tale happy ending, but that movie was about the love between sisters. And yes, there were romantic relationships in that movie, but they were not at the heart of the movie. So it can be done. If Disney can break the mold, so can Hallmark.
Agree.
Okay. I thought there was some just fun, lighthearted, very current writing in this movie.
I agree. Same.
In the advertising, they talked about, wanting a very like Goop style,
wasn't it?
advertising plan. Yeah. That's what I'm losing the word, but you know what I mean? Like a pitch. They were like, think Gwyneth meets Tesla. I thought that was funny. Simon made fun of Alex for her printed posters. He's like, you need to think online, not telephone polls. What year do you think it is? I thought it was written for a younger audience, or at least written in a way a younger audience could appreciate alongside a classic Hallmark audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you think about Rebecca Dalton?
I actually really liked Rebecca Dalton. I think it's funny how much she resembles Natalie Hall.
Oh my God, Megan, I wrote the same thing. I said she looks too much like Natalie Hall.
Yes.
I liked her too. I don't want to be like, oh, she should change herself, but I think like maybe if she darkened her hair a little bit or something, you know what I mean? She does look exactly like Natalie Hall, and I don't want her to fall into this mix of like blonde Hallmark actresses.
Right. Right. Yes. I don't want her to be the Bobo Natalie Hall because I really liked her. I thought she was one of the strongest actors in this movie. I have some criticism about her storyline, which isn't about her. I enjoyed her and would be happy to see her in more.
Me too. Agree.
I'm tapped out on likes. What about you?
Me too.
Okay. You ready for wishes?
I am. I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
I wish there was a better plot.
Oh?
I'm sorry. I didn't think there was anything special about this story, and there was nothing to move this story or the relationship between Simon and Alex forward after the dog training. So then they had to like throw in the like loss of the shelter to like finish the movie out.
Keep them connected.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weak overall.
I don't disagree with you. So I have a lot of wishes, but I wish Alex would have gone to therapy. And I don't say that as a joke. She is dealing with childhood trauma that has carried into her adult life and marks the way that she behaves in multiple situations and in her relationships. And Simon is not going to be the one to solve that problem for her. And she can't rely on another person or a relationship. It's not fair for him to bear this burden of having to constantly prove to her that he's not going to leave her like her dad did.
Yeah.
She needs to process the trauma that she is holding on to before she can move on. And there is someone rolling their eyes at me right now. But if you're going to put that at the heart of this movie, that their dad leaving marked their relationships in such a heavy way, she needs to process that and not be like, Simon will save me. Because she's tougher than that.
Girl with the armchair therapy right now.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
I said what I said.
What else?
My other wish is I wish there was less antagonism, specifically from Alex to Simon. It made her unlikable to me.
Oh,
You know, we agree you need professional help. You need a life coach more than a dog trainer. I mean, it was just like, it was more pointed than it needed to be. I feel like the sarcasm was real heavy, and I don't think that they had enough time in their relationship to recover from her being kind of nasty to him. To go to the I love you that they got, I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
At the end, they could have had a professional dog trainer relationship and set it apart from the romantic relationship that he was pursuing with Chloe without making her hate him.
Right. Yeah, I agree. What else do you have?
I wish we could have seen the photos from the photo shoot.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because they weren't actually taking photos.
No, I know that. But I'm asking, why do you think we both wanted to see the photos?
I don't. That's a good question. I can't imagine they actually turned out great, but I did think they did a nice job in that scene because, they're shooting this dog food. I'm like, you need a dog. And then they bring in the dogs. And then I thought that was actually very funny with them, like running through with the dogs. I thought it obviously made it a more interesting ad to have living things in it than just
a bag of dog food.
Of dog food. Yeah, styled. But yes, I would have been very curious to see how those turned out. You ready for Did You See That?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay.
I have a few, and I have a few stupid little complaints too.
Yeah.
But truly, did you see that? There were so many American flags in the background of this movie. I don't know if you caught them.
I didn't.
In at least two scenes, there was like American flags, and it almost looked like they were used to like cover up signage, like something that said like Canadian Tire or whatever, you know what I mean? So, like, I hung this like big American flag over it. I was like, okay, we get it. You're not in Canada. It just was so funny. I've never noticed it before, but it happened twice.
Huh.
The other time, It was the first time Alex has a stack of flyers for the dogs. Yeah. And there's a picture of a dog and it was so blurry. I was like, who in the props department decided to take some screen grab of this dog? It was so out of focus.
Google Images.
Totally. 100%. And it's funny because when she had those, I was like, this was at the very beginning. I was like, why on earth does she have flyers? Who is she giving flyers to? So, kudos to the writing for Simon to be like, what are you doing? Everything's online these days. And I was really hoping, since he was in advertising, that he was going to make a better campaign for her.
Well, he had said that he would.
I know.
He said, you train me and I'll make your flyers, but we never actually saw that happen. Although
I know.
He did do the signage at the event,
which was also not very good.
Yeah.
For
the photos are better.
An advertising executive, Right. I was like, what? I could do better on Canva myself. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Lastly, if I could point this out, when the vet picks up Alex to go to the fundraiser, her hair is straight. Oh. The next scene, they're at the fundraiser and it's curled.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. So, Mike, did you see that's our, just some random commentary? First of all, Jack Axes is a real place. I looked it up. Oh. It's a real axe throwing place. So shout out to them. Nice cameo in this movie for this Canadian axe throwing hotspot. Mm-hmm. Lots of questions. Okay. How does she afford that house on a dog trainer salary?
I don't know.
Especially since she spends all her time volunteering.
I don't know.
This beautiful house and a beautiful location. Why is she not just doubling the scrambled eggs she's making for her dog? She's not making dog food. She's making human food for her dog. Throw a couple extra eggs in there, lady.
That was such a weird scene, right?
The disordered eating was uncomfortable to me. You're telling me you eat 3 power bars a day? There's not a meal in your day? You're just eating these protein bars? That's not efficient. That's a problem.
I agree. And I did write that down. I go, the weird through line of Alex's eating behaviors bothered me. The fact that it was brought up multiple times, I don't know. That made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, and if you're already making food for your dog, it's very efficient to just double it and feed yourself.
But she doesn't have time.
I know.
She has to get out there. Yeah, it was just weird.
She does have time. She does. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got one. This is not how fundraisers work. As a girl who's working on a fundraiser right now, they had this silent auction. I was like,
oh yeah.
They never showed anybody trying to get that stuff donated. That's the hardest part of a fundraiser, right? And then they're doing the calculations at the time of the announcement. No, none of that works. None of that works.
Money, yay!
Yeah, and. Did they even say, the owner of the building was willing to sell to them? What? I don't...
They did. There was that conversation. They said, is the owner willing to extend your timeline? And she said, no, the best he's willing to do is give us the first option to buy.
Are you ready to rate this movie?
Unfortunately.
Me too. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Well, fine. I'll say it. My rating is 2.5 stars.
Oh, mine's 2, which I thought was too generous.
Oh.
I was debating. I'm very sorry. I don't want to be this person. There's no joy in it.
No.
But I don't think this was their most solid start.
No, it bums me out because I'm they're really, really hanging their hat on the Wedding Bell trilogy, and right. We just need something here on the first weekend of January.
I didn't need the I love yous. I really hated the I love yous at the end.
Yeah, me too.
You're not in love with him. You need therapy. Oh my gosh. Date him. That's great. You guys like each other.
Just date.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Let's go on a date. He got a dog. Yay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Those dogs were real cute.
They were real cute.
Mm-hmm.
I like both those dogs. I really was like, I wonder if there's a Ziggy in my shelter because that's a cute dog.
Oh my God, I was so drawn to Ziggy. I was like, I love him. He just looked like a hairy old man.
I loved him. I know. And I thought, wow, these are the most well-trained shelter dogs I have ever seen in my entire life.
I know. I was like, Alex, I have a dog for you. You want to train my crazy ass dog? It was so funny because she was like, oh, you have to like, I don't know. Look the dog in the eye. I don't know. So I tried that last night when my dog was aggressively humping my leg. I was like, Roxy, look me in the eye. Stop it. Not helping. It did not work.
I know. When she just yells sit at Simon and he like spins around and sits and looks at her. Come on. Okay. Speaking of the wedding veil, next week we will be back with a review of the wedding veil expectations, and you might have noticed that our schedule has changed a little bit. We've bumped Girls Gone Hallmark movie releases to Tuesdays instead of Thursdays, so you're going to get them earlier in your week. If you have not left a review or a rating for Girls Gone Hallmark, we would love it if you would do that before you leave. We love your 5-star ratings and your reviews. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.